Breaking news from Eastern Europe. Russia has launched its most massive assault of the year, with more than 574 drones and 40 powerful missiles raining down on Ukraine. Reports suggest the actual number of drones could be far higher, as several strikes have not yet been fully counted. The scale of this bombardment has left Ukraine shaken, with authorities warning civilians to stay in shelters and avoid going outside. One of the most alarming developments is the strike on Ukraine's gas storage facilities, raising fears that dangerous chemicals could spread into the atmosphere. This is not just an attack on Ukraine. It is a clear message to Europe and the United States. Russian officials have warned NATO members, especially Italy, France, Germany, and the UK, that any direct involvement will result in similar strikes across European territory. The Kremlin's posture is confident, with President Putin signaling that negotiations will only happen under Moscow's strict conditions. Even the much-discussed possibility of U.S. brokered peace talks with Zelensky has hit a dead end, as Putin refuses to meet unless Ukraine agrees to sign on Russia's terms. The timing of this assault is particularly striking. While discussions of ceasefire and negotiations were underway, Moscow chose to escalate, a strategy often seen before in Russia's military playbook. Analysts compare it to the Afghanistan model, apply maximum pressure during talks to gain leverage at the table. Meanwhile, the U.S. and Europe find themselves cornered. Washington insists that Zelensky missed earlier chances to strike a peace deal, while Europe is reeling from both security threats and economic stress. In America, economic turbulence is also intensifying. Rising tariffs and inflation have hit ordinary citizens, with even giants like McDonald's forced to slash prices after consumer demand dropped sharply. Shoppers are buying less, restaurant visits are declining, and tariffs on imports from India and China are directly squeezing American households. Critics argue that these policies have backfired, harming U.S. citizens more than their intended targets abroad. On the geopolitical front, the war shows no sign of slowing. Over 1.7 million Ukrainian soldiers and civilians are reported dead or missing, according to leaked data from Russian cyber units. Morale on the battlefield is weakening, and Russia is exploiting that weakness with relentless strikes. At the same time, Putin has opened the door for China's involvement, something Kyiv strongly opposes, further complicating the balance of power. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has pushed for talks, suggesting Ukraine will eventually have to concede 20% of its territory to Russia. Yet even this proposal exposes deep mistrust. Zelensky insists on facing Putin directly, while Moscow maintains that negotiations will only end with signatures, not discussions.